Good day and welcome to Government House. We have a chorus of voices in our community, a chorus of voices that speak to our rich Virgin Islands culture and the customs and the norms that we celebrate and enjoy. This week, we lost two of those very, very important voices. Wadabli, who is, as he's affectionately known to us, passed this weekend. We want to offer condolences to the entire Virgin Islands and his friend. And of course, Doc Eugene Peterson, last week in St. Croix, who we also felt the whole community tremor. He was just at Government House a couple of weeks ago, talking with us about horse racing and different tactics. It was very sad. I saw Dabli about 2 weeks ago down here at Pueblo, and we were talking about getting him up at Government House to do some stuff for us. So very tragic in terms of unexpected deaths in our community, and our condolences go out to the families. Now, in other news, much more brighter news, I was out this weekend. We had a wonderful prayer breakfast on Saturday, and then I flew over here in St. Thomas. We flew to St. Croix. The Deltas had a wonderful reception this weekend here in St. Thomas. Over in St. Croix yesterday, rum meets wine, Loudoun County. We had a whole food fest all weekend long about how we connect to the wine country in the Virginia, Maryland, DC area. I had a beautiful concert yesterday at Frederiksted. People on the beach all over enjoying themselves, and Carnival is coming. The community is just so happy and getting together. It's a beautiful thing. So it's kind of disappointing in some ways of the conversations I heard over the weekend. I once tried to pit one district against the other. Together we have come so far over the last 3 years, trying to make things right. The recent voting on the horse racing, we won, but we don't win if we don't all realize that this is about the Virgin Islands moving forward. It's not a contest against St. Thomas against St. Croix. And it's just disappointing to know that those old wounds are still there. So as we march forward, I'm going to do my utmost to make sure that we get the track built in St. Croix too. One territory, one head, one love. But enough of that. I just want us to make sure that as the silly season progresses, that we remember that together we have accomplished a lot. And speaking of togetherness, I am pleased to be here with you today, together with my Senate President and Senate Vice President, retirees, loved ones, friends, for perhaps the most important day of our active and retired government employees since the GRS was created 60 years ago. A historic day for our Virgin Islands and a proud day for the Bryan Roach administration. I remember 6 years ago sitting down in the then 1F Louis Hospital and Cardiac Centers, looking at the faces of my friends and family as Austin Nibbs was telling them for perhaps 100th time that the system was going to be broke. The sense of distraught that someday they would be able to retire, but they wouldn't be able to get a cent. The look on people's faces when I came to St. Thomas and shared the same thing. I went home and I thought long and hard about it. And many of the people told me, they said, whatever you do, don't say you're going to fix the retirement system. So you know what I did? The complete opposite. And never in our wildest dreams did we think that we would be able to fix the retirement system forever. When we asked Austin Nibbs down at GRS, and we were right down there, Mr. Bory was down there as well working with us, to give us the list of the retirees. And we saw the thousands of people that were collecting $14,000, $15,000, $16,000 a year. There's no way that we could fathom. I called up my good friend, Senate President, and I said, we got to fix this thing. And then she called me all the time. We go fix this thing. And fix it we did. But while we stand here proud in this moment, as an administration, as a Senate, executive branch working together. Today isn't about us. Today is about the 9,000 retirees who no longer have to worry about cuts to their retirement annuities. Today is about that promise that was made that we would fix this system without impacting 1 red cent of the retirees who are already retired. And let me tell you something. I know how to smile a lot. And sometimes I think it'll make it look like it's easy. But it's not easy. This year, we're going to have to find $40 to $50 million that we will no longer collect from the revenue fund and find a way to make the budget balance. Not me alone, me and my colleagues in the legislature. We're going to have to be able to see a way that we create more revenues, be it cannabis, maybe not, something else, to make up for all the things. Because as we do this, the teachers don't want to hear that we don't have money to give them raises. The EMS people don't want to hear that neither. The children in the schools don't want to hear that we don't have the money to make the repairs and fix the schools. And I know that y'all enjoying all the asphalt that's raining from the skies now. We can't forget all of those things. We still have to make up and make it out. But like I said, today is about retirees. Retirees like Wilbert Gomez, or Gomi like we call him, who worked as a teacher for 37 years, giving back to this Virgin Islands, and now is retired, that his future is secure. Today is about people like Verdell Peterson, who worked as a teacher as well and gave back to this community. About Olaf Branko Hendricks, who's still working for the community, retired about 10 times now and can't stay home, who work tirelessly in our health department and other places contributing. Today is about the 8,000 active employees too, though. Because these 8,000 people will now be able to retire and make sure that they have a little piece of the pie. We are losing employees because people are saying the system is going to be broke. And I've answered the question tirelessly to my supporters 4 years ago. Why do you want to be the governor when this system go under? Wait till it go broke and then run. But that's not how we do things. We make sure that we rose to the occasion and delivered on the promises them. And today is about Virgin Islanders who we want to recruit for this transformation of the islands that we have to see over the next 10 years. We need to get these young people in, and they need to be assured that they will be contributing to a system that's going to one day secure their retirement. Talented young Virgin Islanders like those in our GVI Fellows program and all the other workforce training program. You see, today, Tregenza and I deliver on the promises that we made all those years ago. And as an administration, we promise to remain committed to the people by providing solutions to the GRS insolvency and now a myriad of other issues that confront this community. This is something that we have been passionate about for a long time, this solvency plan. And over the years, the criticism and the cynicism about it not getting done, we persevered. Because this was never about politics. This was about people, people that depend on the system. We understood the devastating impact inaction or failure on this measure would have on our community. People, promises made, promises kept. Today, I am pleased to present the GRS for a check for $89.2 million. To best explain that was to see Mr. Nib's face when he sat in that room with us in DC, and he said, my God, 250 million will be delivered to the system in year 2022 alone. And next year, 23, another 157 million. And the year after that, another 157 million. fulfilling on the promises that we told you when we start this. Those installments would go on for the next 30 years, contributing $3.8 billion to the retirement system of the Virgin Islands, making sure that never again our retirees will have to worry where the next bread coming from. I want to take this time now to go and unveil this check. I think the Senate President and I should pull it at the same time with the Lieutenant Governor of the check. I want to make sure that you know that today is a great day, but the future will be even better. Because now that we have this money, I am challenging Mr. Bowery and the rest of the board to return the small loan program to the employees of the GBI. Can't say you don't got no money now. This is so important to helping our government employees and retirees make ends meet. Whether it's fixing the car or sending a little change for the grandchildren is important. The other thing I want to do is challenge all of the government employees and the GRS system to think about retirement planning. Because this retirement will not be enough for you to survive in the future. It's a piece of this, a piece of savings, and a piece of your Social Security and other income. I will join with the retirement system in educating people on how to properly plan for retirement so that we never have to go through this again. I would be negligent if I didn't call to the attention that we are only here today writing this check because of the work that was done to bring rum companies to the Virgin Islands. If we had not gotten Diageo back in the 2008 and 9 when our deal was sealed, we could never have the money to do this today. That was the original intent when we came upon this, to get that money to float a bond, a $600 million bond. We do $3.8 billion in order to make sure that the retirees were secure and the recession hit. So today I would not only like to thank the John DeYoung administration for his work and Greg Francis, but all the other governors, board members of the GRS, legislators, and the people of the Virgin Islands that have worked on this problem over 30 years. Today at 10:30, the court closed and canceled the cases existing from the retirement system to the government of the Virgin Islands that have been open for over 30 years, clearing not only the case, but $1 million in legal fees annually for both organizations. So I'm glad to get my money back. Rest assured We have much more work to do. Even today, as we hear the Senate President, Vice President, and their team, we work every day struggling with this strangling fuel crisis that we're dealing with as a result of what is going on in Ukraine. We are working with WAPA, trying to keep your light bill low and your lights them on. It's not easy, but we're going to work through it together, just like we did this one. Thank you to all our bond people, council, or Ramirez, and who really got this going, the legislature, subcommittee on retirement. It really worked. Thank you all. Thank you, retirees, and have a pleasant afternoon. I almost left with no questions from the press. We have any? I have Lasiba Knight on there.
Hello, good afternoon. Hi, Governor.
Hi. Ask your question again, Lasiba.
Congratulations to your administration. Okay.
Thank you. That was it.
Sorry. Congratulations to your administration and the 34th legislature on getting this done. This fix came at the 11th hour, less than 2 years before the system was set to reach insolvency. Can you speak to why it was that you couldn't let this go? You know, there was multiple rounds of legislation that were sent down. The Senate took their fix on things or their view on things. And it was a very big effort from everyone.
Yeah, when tragic things happen or great things happen, you never forget where you were. As if when the space shuttle first blew up, you knew where you were. I remember sitting in Nathan Simmons' office when the Ramirez firm pitched this to us. He had a PowerPoint, and he was showing it to me, and I was like, can this work? He was like, yeah. I was like, and we could do this? He was like, yeah. From that moment, I knew that we would never have an opportunity like this again. So whatever it took to get it done. And, political favors, one thing I learned in COVID, it doesn't matter about the politics as long as you put the people first. And in my conscience, I could not let it go. So I thank my champions in the legislature for making it come through. And, my good friend Jason Charles always would tell me, try again. If you fail 6 times, try again. Just try. And that's what we did, and we were successful. This is life or death. I mean, I'm never speechless, but I just couldn't imagine 8,000 people not only losing the money that they get every month, but losing their health insurance too. I think that would have been the final nail in the coffin for us. And it just couldn't happen. Thank you, Lasiba. Ernest?
Yes, Governor, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, Gov. Congrats to everyone on this major accomplishment. A few questions, Gov. You mentioned, you're trying to work with WAPA relative to the power crisis, the energy crisis, rather.
Yeah.
You'd spoken about, I think a month ago or so, that energy transformation you wanted to start on St. Croix with renewables. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, so we actually have a joint committee of sorts between the PSC, WAPA, Government House, and of course Kyle representing us. So they're sitting down now thinking of the best way to do it. We spoke to a couple of different firms, small and large, about getting it done. And it's coming in a little high, so we have some ideas about how we want to move forward. But there were some phone calls this weekend. I had a meeting with both the PSC chair and the WAPA CEO Friday. And I'm supposed to get some more updates today on how we're going to move forward on this. But whatever happens, we're going to move forward 100%. Like I said, I think I was misquoted in the paper saying we'll have it built in 90 days. People keep calling me and saying, how are you going to build a whole solar plant in 90 days? I said we will have a way to move forward. Within 90 days, we will have something out, whether in RFP or whatever, that where we're going to get this done and get it up as quickly as possible.
You said something was coming in expensive. You're speaking to potential deals there?
No, I mean already. I mean we're handling the fuel costs that are created by WAPA. We have been subsidizing WAPA now for the last couple of weeks in order to make sure that we keep residents' fuel costs low, and we don't have to have a rate increase by the PSC or anybody else. You know, gas prices have increased at least by 50% since the war in the Ukraine, but your light bill is still the same. That's not magic. That's hard work being done by me and my friends. I'm trying to make sure that we keep that light bill low. Long term, we have to get a solution that smooths out our energy spikes and that allows us to stop buying fuel. I know I had a lot of calls from people at WAPA concerned about their jobs and whatever. Believe me, there's plenty of work to be had. We got a lot of solar work to do, a lot of renewable work to do. And people ask me, oh, you know, why is it on St. Croix? That's an easy answer. St. Croix is available land, plenty the government owns, flat. Much easier to get permitted and get it going. So wherever we get the fuel saving, it doesn't matter. The whole Virgin Islands get it. Remember, together. That's how we stand.
Governor, related to the funding that's going to GRS, you mentioned some 250 million this year alone. You know, we've gotten this question over and over, and I thought I'd ask it to you here. Are there any restrictions on the way GRS can spend those funds, right? So are those monies strictly for paying annuities, right? Or can GRS use some of those funds to do some investments? We know some of those investments were tragic, were bad. Are there any restrictions on those monies?
So I want to clean that up. I don't think that the GRS is a misnomer. I think the GRS has been a really good steward of our money in terms of investment. I think they've averaged about 6 to 7% over the years in terms of return on investment. I wish I could get it out of my portfolio. I might give them some of my money to manage too. But more so than that, they have to invest it because the money can't just sit there. The money has to be invested in order to make money. One of the things that I tell people is our pension system, just like other pension systems, make investments. If we're going to make investments, I think making them in other people's community is not as sharp as making them in our community. So, you know, I've always seen the opportunity to build the Virgin Islands using our money. If we're going to pay interest, we pay it to ourselves and guarantee those sums of interest. Whether the scope of what we invest in is left to bear, another comment. That's why I love you, Ernest. You always ask a good question. The other thing that there's a vicious rumor out there that the GRS is investing in a hotel. It is not the truth. It's a land lease. They're leasing them the plot to put up yet another 100 or so rooms for us. Overnight guests seem to help us during COVID, and it will continue to do so. We've also stopped the GRS from liquidating assets because they were getting ready to sell their building, looking at the mall for sale. They had plenty of land for sale. Now those things are secured for members to maybe have more home ownership and do some different things. So no, the short answer is no, there is not limitations to what GRS can invest that money in. Certainly we're going to be looking for some board members. Mr. Bowery to be writing me quite often, requesting new ones to help manage that money, but we will continue to invest the money, and hopefully we'll be able to get some good investment dollars out of that so the fund continues to grow.
And so, Governor, what about this nagging question? Some folks say this is a 30-year fix, but not a fix for infinity. And what that means is it creates a band-aid here, a long one, so to speak, but nonetheless, after 30 years, there would be a similar situation brewing. Some folks have spoken about.
See,
you know,
that's
what
why.
about,
that's why I love you, Ernest. You ask the right questions because we are able to just clean out all the nonsense. The 30 years, the reason why we use 30 years because that's the term of the note that we're paying. It's not the term of the GRS. So if I can send a graph to you, it shows how the fund increases, but after the 30 years, it is really just going higher. So it actually solves the problem forever. So when we say 30 years, that's the period of indebtedness the Virgin Islands has to the GRS. After that, if we're still producing rum, that money will be coming back to the Virgin Islands government.
Right, indeed, indeed. Governor,
I'm going to send you that graph.
there.
I'm going to send you that graph so you could print it, okay? I want to make sure people are clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. And so, I'm going to go quickly. Any changes to the system are being contemplated? Some folks have said, why don't we move to a hybrid system? You have said this as well. That includes a 401k. Anything like that in the making?
I expect, with my talks with the Senate President, they indicated that they are going to make some changes. They're looking at the board. In terms of the benefit, I would like to see, part of my plan was an opportunity for people to have hybrids, but that also messes with the actuary prediction of how the system would function. So we would have to go back and look at that. The solution that I proposed is that we had created a new tier that they would only be able to, we put 1%, and then they would be able to get a matching fund from the government. So if they wanted to leave, because younger people now have more jobs, they could go, but we're not doing that again. I think we've outdone ourselves because we are able to fix the system without any changes to the benefit packages, whether current or future. But I think it would be prudent for us to look at how we can make the system even stronger.
Okay, Governor. Lastly, I know this was a popular one with the community government employees, and you spoke about it to applause here. Have you actually spoken to the heads of GRS about reinstating the government employees loan program?
Yes, I actually wrote a letter to them maybe like 6 months ago in order to do that and also to do retirement education. At the time, cash was still short. My idea was for them just to write letters of security. So you would get a letter from the GRS, you would go to your credit union and know that your loan at the credit union or the bank is backed by the GRS. So it would be a secure way for people to get money. They could still do that and get a rate of interest, or they could issue the money themselves. Because the money at the GRS isn't cheap. I think it was 12 or 14% interest on the personal loan money. So that's expensive money. Well, money is getting more expensive. It's getting a 19% on credit cards now. But it's a good rate of return. That's a good program, and I'm fully confident that they're going to be reinstating that program.
All right, Governor, congratulations to his agreement there, accomplishment.
Hey, thank you, Ernest. Don, the source?
Hi, can you hear me, Governor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, first of all, I want to tell you, great job, because I'm a GERS member, and happy to see this happen.
That's right.
It's great. But I still have to ask some questions that people have asked me.
Sure.
In the long run, and Ernest has covered it a bit, but how do we make money? Well, let me go to the easier question first. Haven't the wrong funds been committed elsewhere? Is that what you're talking about, the $50 million that we have to find to balance the budget?
Right. So the reason why
that $50 million.
Yeah, the reason why we were sitting there, I forgot to thank David Paul, our financial advisor as well, to David wasn't able to make it to DC. The reason why we were sitting there and we said, what would be the amount of money we would lose if we were to really fund the GRS totally to get it to $3.8 billion. And it was $40 million. And really it's a 5% increase in the budget. Last year, I think we submitted a $100 million increase in the budget, which is more like 15% of the budget. So what we essentially have to do is we have to find 5% of the budget to make up for cash. So, we could do that with cannabis. That's one way of creating more revenues in the territory. We're still looking at the internet tax. We need to make money. Right now, the Virgin Islands is on a trajectory for excellence, and I really don't see the need to raise any taxes at this point. But what I do see is the potential for us to really start maximizing. We had a great year last year, a great year the year before in terms of revenues. And that will continue. So, right now I think we're going to be good, but like I say, it's not going to be easy. Everybody wants us to pay them retroactive wages back to 2012. We really can't afford that and fix the retirement system. And, once again, the Senate President and some of the legislators had us talk about this. You know, when we put $157 million in the retirement system, you know, we're raising everybody's pay. It doesn't feel like that in your pocket, but we did. For the last 2 years, the legislature voted to absorb the increase in health insurance. We raised everybody's pay. We paid the bill instead of giving it to you. The contribution to the retirement system has raised for the last 2 years. Once again, we raised everybody's pay. And that's a lot. So, you know, people are negotiating with us now for raises. I just want people to keep in mind that we want to give raises, but remember, there's but so much we could afford at one time. Plus, we're paying back the retroactive pay from 30 years ago, working on that with the Senate too, trying to get that $25 million to everybody at one time. So it's a lot one time, and I just ask for people to be patient with us because we got a lot of bills to pay still.
Okay, so you say 40 to 50 million more in the next budget. But how about in following years? Is there going to be more that we're going to have to?
The same thing, but I tell you, Don, it's like a car payment. You know, when you get a car the first time you start driving it around, you get a first payment, and you'll say, Lord, the new car smelling as good as the new car price. But after a couple of months, you'll be able to pay that. And I think with your mortgage or anything else that you're paying, we just got to get used to paying that bill, and we'll be able to do it. I like to remind people that, you know, and much to the Lieutenant Governor's pleasure, we haven't been taking money out of the Insurance Guarantee Fund like we have been doing for years, to the tune of that. So there's some other little pockets of money there that we're doing. We actually have started a rainy day fund in the Virgin Islands for the first time ever. We want to keep contributing to that too, because there's a lot of rain that'll be coming down the years, you know what I'm saying? So we got to make sure we put a little bit away. I guess some ideas about some people we need to help, you know.
Okay, one other question, one last question. Like I said, these questions are passed on to me. In the documents outlining the bond sale, it said there was $15 million paid for the issuance of the bonds. Is that like $15 million to consultants? Doesn't that sound like a lot?
Yeah, anytime it's just like a loan. When you close on a loan, you have to pay closing. I wouldn't quote that $50 million because I'm not familiar, but we floated almost $1 billion in bonds. So $15 million is a drop in the bucket to that. That's just a cost of getting money. We pay that when you get a mortgage or whatever. I'm always upset when I see the closing cost. That could have been money in my pocket too. But that's just the way business is done.
I know, that's why we get upset every day. Yeah, and somebody made a lot. Thanks a lot, Governor.
Hey, thank you, Don, and enjoy your retirement. Yeah, like I say, I'm really excited about this. It took a minute for it to sink in, and together I think we can do a lot more. You know, we got fire in your mess last week. Thank you, legislature, again. We got some great things coming down the pipe. Let's just keep it going. And thanks again for all of you for watching. God bless. Love you. Have a fantastic day.